you know, I'm an aging activist that started in my teens as you did, and to see a new generation of activists here saying enough is enough, we're not going to let Wall Street business go on as usual, well, it brings a smile to my face, and I had to come down and look at it.
Yeah.
Did you wear those here?
I wore these here. I hitchhiked across country with these, and wear and tear just gets to them eventually. So, and this is brand new, just from the other day.
Where are you from?
California.
California?
Yeah.
Were you here? Did you come specifically for this?
Yep.
How did you hear about it?
Adbusters posted the call to action about 2.5, 3 months ago, and I heard about it about 2 hours after they posted it. My friend called me up like, dude, you got to get on this. And we called up the public relations people at Adbusters. They said they were leaving it up to the activists in the area to organize it and everything, so we just started going to town on it.
Okay.
And since then, everything you see here has come to be.
This isn't a message that's resonates inside the corporate mainstream media, so there's been a lot of ridiculing of you know, the people that are here, how they look, how they act, how they dress. That's common. That's been going on for 40 years. But the reality is that the institutions of power are falling apart. And we may not have a lot of experience. The beauty of this thing is that almost everyone's under 30. I mean, most of the people seem to be 20-somethings and teenagers. So there may not be a lot of people that have been studying the problems of corporate capitalism for 30 years. But they know enough to understand that the root of power in the world is right here. It's Wall Street.
I started to radicalize when my best friend from high school developed kidney disease, and he's forced to work, and he subsides on about $450 a year from the government, and he can't afford his medical treatment. He's being barely kept alive. My younger sister has been unemployed since she got out of college. I've been barely employed, and we gave billions of dollars to the banks, trillions of dollars to banks internationally, and we can't build an infrastructure in this country. We can't employ people, and right here, right now, we're seeing the first inklings of the American spring. As the leaves are falling in New York, the American spring is sprouting, and that's why I'm here.
The way this movement and others have been limbed in the national narrative of the corporate media. Well, I don't know how old you are, but I remember being a child and seeing the way they portrayed beatniks and hippies, let's say in the 60s. But young people didn't listen to that. You know, that was, and it even made it look interesting. Let them tell that story, because it just perks interest. But people are eventually going to do what I did, is run away from home and go to the Great Speckled Bird newspaper in Atlanta, Georgia, like I did, and find out for themselves what was going on there.
Yeah, I think what you said is so cool. It's exactly what happens. I mean, this thing is being reflected in a very negative and fractured way by mainstream media, but a lot of young people may see this even in its negatively portrayed way through mainstream media and want to rush to Wall Street. There's no doubt that's going to happen.
I'd rather not comment. I just want people to say what they see when they come here.
Well, what about you?
I see a lot of people that need to be heard who aren't being heard.
What would you like to be heard?
Why am I here? Like, why are you here? Why are we all here? We want something to change. We want to see some movement to be created to challenge the people in power. That's what we want. And, you know, it's taken a long time for people to focus on this issue, to get out of partisanism and realize who's really in power here, and the importance of Wall Street and challenging Wall Street. And I think that that's something that's been needed for a long time. And, you know, I think it's good. I think people are learning from each other. That's the wonderful thing.
The spirit gets kind of torn and tattered after that, and so you're making patches.
No, the spirit remains absolutely untorn and tattered. Unfortunately, denim does not.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're saying your spirit is made of stronger stuff than denim?
Yeah, far stronger than denim. Come on.
Do you suppose as time goes on, people's spirits will need some patching?
We've got people that, you know, when it rains or when we're getting arrested, that they have momentary lapses or almost like a break in their spirit. But all it takes is us to, you know, sing a song or hang out or maybe have a good hug or just a heart-to-heart for a little bit, and the people's spirits are here. I mean, we've got a lot of support behind us, so it's really hard to break our spirits.
It's time that people are desperate enough for a new narrative to come through.
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. I think clearly the breakage in the progressive narrative is a lot of young people that cared about peace and justice. They put their hopes in Obama. And so for month after month, when Obama was carrying out some of the same policies as Bush, you had people saying, well, I'm going to give him more time, I'm going to give him more time. I think young people are fed up. They know that Obama's representing Wall Street more than representing them, that Obama's representing the military-industrial complex more than it's representing them, and it's about time people get out in the streets again. If John McCain had been elected president and escalated the war in Afghanistan, there would have been riots in the street. Obama gets in and escalates the war in Afghanistan, and there was quietude.
When we elected Barack Obama, activist culture here in the U.S. kind of trickled off. We thought the man was going to.
That's always the liberal smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, it's really upsetting because I was saying it before the election, like, guys, we've tried that. Trust me, we tried every time. It's good, you know. It's better than Bush. Shit, almost anything would be better than Bush.
Well, Mr. Hope and Change went with more money from Wall Street tucked into his $1,000 suit than any candidate, Democratic or Republican.
Yeah.
So he was sort of put there to keep the status quo. And you said you knew that before the election?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty clear. Like, you're picking, whether we had elected one or the other, you are picking something that's been pre-vetted. Both those guys received tons of contributions from you know, these guys we see behind us over and above.
You know, the Wall Street had its worst quarter since 2008, announced yesterday. So, you know, they're doing their best to bring capitalism down, and we're just trying to help them.
Hallelujah. Praise me. Hey. Wall Street. Watch out, Wall Street. Hold on. Amen. We're taking over. Watch out.
One moment. Can you heal my credit rating? Can you lay on hands on my credit cards and heal my credit rating?
Hit the quick. Look here.
I feel you.
We ask the circus impresario who runs Evolution.
The cosmic CEO.
The cosmic CEO, thank you. Come down into this soul's credit card, come down into his magnetic strip.
Fallen. My credit rating has fallen.
Rearrange the magnetic signals there such that the man is no longer in debt, and heal that part of his soul which got him into debt in the first place.
Praise you, Almighty God.
Why did you get into debt in the first place? Why?
I'm sorry, I'm a sinner.
Are you weak?
I'm a wretch. You have to break through the appliance culture where they just look at their appliances and what's coming over instantly like that has an effect.
Yeah, I mean, the appliance culture is the way that the young people are communicating with young people.
Right.
And as you say, if someone develops a counter narrative and it grows enough with our new social media, it goes viral pretty fast.
Right.
The reality is that the Tea Party leadership and base was nuttier than anything I've seen here.
Right.
Their detachment from reality was far more severe than anything I've seen here in terms of naivete and misunderstanding of how the world goes. But the Tea Party got full coverage in the media, full respectful coverage, to the point where CNN is hosting debates alongside them.
Right.
CNN's never going to have a debate with the anti-war movement as their co-sponsor.
Right.
So, I mean, we know the biases of the corporate mainstream media. One of the beautiful things here is that people are spreading the word virally and through their own media. They have their own newspaper.
Right.
Have you shown this?
We have to challenge power. There was a great sign here saying that power of the people is greater than the people with power. So I think there's a growing sense of us and them, a growing sense of that there's an enemy. There was a guy out front said, I fought in 2 wars, but I finally found out who the enemy is. And he was standing out in front on Broadway, across from Brown Brothers Harriman, which is the big old line Wall Street bank.
So what have you learned since you graduated high school, since you went starry-eyed into the corporate consumer state, ready to have a future, and apparently you've been blown and buffeted and your opinions have been changed since then by things. Did you find a defining event, besides the unemployment line, where this crystallized in your mind that you had been scammed?
Yeah, that would be when I got fired. The accounting was flubbed to make it look like I made X amount in the 4th quarter, X amount in the 1st quarter, didn't qualify for unemployment, lost my apartment, all my money, wound up on the street for 2 months. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that did it.
And that did it, yeah. That'll do it.
You realize that 90% of the people are excluded from the debate, and their positions aren't even reflected in the debate. When Obama debates Boehner, it's how much are we going to cut Medicare and Social Security? But when you talk to the American people, including people that vote Republican, it's don't touch Social Security, tax the wealthy more, bring the troops home. And of course, those things weren't even in the debate.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, the Tea Party was an artificial creation. It was called for by somebody on CNBC. It was funded by all kinds of Republican strategy organizations, and it resonated because the Republicans have for years been saying the government is the problem. We're saying, no, Wall Street is the problem. Economic power is the problem. Inequality is the problem. Financial crime is a problem. And that view has not been in the media. This other view, it's much easier for the press to handle. Bad government, bad politicians, that's their turf. We're saying, no, it's not just the politicians, it's the interests behind the politicians. It's the men and women in the shadows that we want to focus on. And I think as people began to realize that, they're beginning to come together and raise these issues.
Just ask what brought you down to the demonstration here.
With my sister.
She's here?
Yeah, but she believes in all of this.
And what about you?
Well, I don't really know about this stuff.
You don't know a lot about it?
No. I mean, I just hear it from my sister.
Are you curious?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I am.
And as you said, no one had received more money, more campaign money in history than Barack Obama. Today it's competition between Romney and Obama. I mean, the fact that these young people have located the root of the problem here, and in spite of that they may not be the most politically sophisticated activist in the globe, that this has so resonated across the globe where people, what can I do? Send money. It's a wonderful thing.
What got you interested in this sort of activism, as opposed to just, going the regular life in California, being a surfer guy?
Why does everyone think all we do is smoke weed and surf?
Because I used to live there.
Oh, okay.
That's all I used to do.
All we do is smoke weed and surf.
I used to live in Los Angeles, live on Venice Beach, so.
Yeah. Well, basically, I was coming of age during the Bush years.
Okay. Where in California, by the way?
I was born in the north and raised in Southern California in the 8th most conservative city in America, Simi Valley.
Okay.
It's where the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library is.
Yep.
That's about as conservative as you can get.
Right.
And coming of age in that area, there was 2 things that you could turn into: apathetic or an activist.
Okay.
Not an apathetic sort of person, so I became an activist, and I've been doing it for years and years and
So
years
you're
now.
saying Ronald Reagan made you what you are today. Thank you, Ronald Reagan, for bringing him in. There are ways that viral communication is happening in unseen ways.
It's the only way for people to communicate a clear, full message. I mean, Jon Stewart's been making fun of the people here. Bill O'Reilly's making fun of the people here. Some of the people here are easy to share a laugh over, but there are a lot of people communicating important messages from here, and they're doing it virally.
I have to say that after 5,000 years, I couldn't find an honest man.
Still.
New York City, nor a democracy.
So you've been
trying to Athens looking for an honest man.
Right.
At the insistence of the Oracle of Delphi.
Let me tell you something. This is Wall Street. You came to the wrong place to find an honest man.
Well, I looked all over the state. I looked all over the country. I went to Washington.
Okay.
I'm back to my grave in Seneca. Thank you.
Yes, when you find the honest man, put him on Twitter.
What was that?
We're at the top secret WikiLeaks truck here. The top secret WikiLeaks couch. And this is really interesting. The top secret baby piano. What's with the top secret baby grand piano here?
The top secret baby grand piano is for information collection.
I see.
It's a secret database bank.
Okay. Are you with the WikiLeaks organization?
Well, I'm a WikiLeaks supporter.
Okay.
I'm with Code Pink, and we're a peace group, and I coordinate our Hands Off WikiLeaks campaign.
And so, how long have you been here, since the beginning?
I was at one of the first General Assemblies, where we met in a park to decide what to do about this Advestors call to action for September 17th. And that became the first of many General Assemblies and the practice that we do right here in the park every day. And out of that meeting came different working groups, and we've since established many more working groups, but the ones that we established then are still going, and they are the ones that help us put all of this together. And so we have a food committee, we have a media committee, an arts and culture committee, and since we've been here, we've developed all kinds of new ones, like a rain committee and a child care committee. And
young people have got to create their own institutions, and the only way they can do that is by meeting each other.
What's happening here is a community.
As organized as the corporations are, we have to be as organized as that and fight back and mount an alternative for a better world where we can meet human needs, not feed human greed.
How do we break through to the northeastern liberal insular establishment that benefits from the status quo and convince them it's in their interest to stop sneering at what's going on here?
Right. My reaction would be, don't waste a lot of time on the corporate elite, whether liberal or conservative. That the alliances that need to be made are with working class people, with people who are union members, with people that are not union members, but they're being screwed over by Wall Street. That's what was so exciting when I saw on Friday TWU, the transport workers, coming down here and making common cause with sort of the neo-hippie young people here.
Do you remember what woke you up and roused your spirit so you didn't drink the Kool-Aid?
So that I didn't drink the Kool-Aid. You know what? I like Kool-Aid.
That would be a dream come true from me from 1969 and 1970, that long-haired young people and artistic and marginals and countercultural people could make an alliance with workaday folks against Wall Street. But the corporate liberal elite and you deal with them later. That's a tiny group. They may dominate the New York Times, they may dominate the readership of the New York Times, but your real hope is to reach out to middle class people and win them to your side away from the corporate funded Tea Party.
It's the end of the zombie consumerism.
I see, but what about the consumers themselves, walking through the malls?
Walking through the malls, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm saying that that's exactly how they've been treating us and how they've been feeding us.
Right.
With what they put in our food and what they put in our entertainment.
Right.
And it's a matter of time before everybody wakes up and realizes that they have a soul and they're not a statistic.
And how would you draw them out of the mall and into the gathering?
By actions like this. By actions like this.
And how many people would you say are awake and ready for activism in Simi Valley?
In Simi Valley?
In Simi Valley.
I felt like I've never seen an area that looks like it needs it more but wants it less than Simi Valley. They don't know that they need to do something, but I'm seeing people out there, even though the economy, the fact that the apathy eventually just pools up around you, and when you're given only the option of, you're supposed to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps.
Right.
There were people that I saw out there. This is an area that has nothing but $1 million homes.
Right.
Nothing but $1 million homes. And I see people out there that have been homeless for probably about 3 weeks, living in their car with their kids.
Right.
And it saddens me because as a young person, I could deal with it a lot better than they could, and they have no fucking clue what they're doing. They didn't know.
I used to travel around America. I used to see homeless people from time to time living in their cars. The guy would tell me the story of what happened to him, but I would look over at the dashboard and there's Ayn Rand he's reading.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how the it's internalized inside of people, particularly where you grew up in McMansion world there.
Yeah.
The inner architecture they have is of the corporate consumer state.
Yeah. So they themselves are under the illusion that they're, you know, benefactors of what's going on around them, when their friends, family, and neighbors are the ones that are out on the street and eventually themselves.
White working class people and white working class men, who are traditionally the swing voters, saw a message of hope and change, and a message that I'm on your side. As you say, it may not have been, I mean, they voted for the right message. They may have, the messenger may not have been committed to those goals, but I don't know that they were tricked. If an authentic person putting forward that exact message, a legitimate message of redistributing power more democratically, and wealth, and income, and jobs, and opportunities, that's a message that resonates. That means the Tea Party's now cut by 90%.
You're a relatively young guy, right? How long you been out of the academy?
Too long.
Too long? Seen too much?
Seen too much.
Do you think your pension will survive these guys?
I don't know.
No.
I don't talk about that.
How come? A little pressure from above?
Yeah.
Could affect the career? Yeah, that's what these people are afraid of. They're a little bit afraid of their future being affected. That's why they're afraid.
I don't worry about it.
Oh, you do. Otherwise, you could talk about it.
Yeah.
The corporate media, you know, don't have an interest in helping, like, radical youth connect with working class America. That's not in their interest.
I came into this thinking it would be a big rally on September 17th. That's it. And it has become something so much bigger.
How far are you guys willing to take this fight?
As far as necessary.
You were willing, when you joined, you were willing to give everything, right?
Yep.
Are you willing to give everything for this?
Of course. Our country needs it.